I now recognize Representative Wilson for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank each of you for being here. And I was away a moment ago because this is Ukrainian Week, and to me, to recognize the courage of people of Ukraine standing up, and it all relates, and that is that we're in a worldwide conflict of dictators with rule of gun invading democracies with rule of law. And so what an opportunity we have in the Middle East today. And I'm grateful to be here with Chairman Lawler. He is a proven friend of those standing for freedom. He even did better. His wife is from Moldova. So he has proven himself. With that in mind, I grew up appreciating the success of the Syrian Lebanese community in South Carolina, who've made extraordinary achievements in business, professions, and public service. In fact, we have a living example, not from South Carolina, but from some remote state called California, Daryl Issa, of Lebanese American heritage. As we seek for the people of Lebanon peace and prosperity, it's clear that the greatest threat are the mullahs of Tehran financing Hezbollah, and I have faith President Donald Trump will work to cease the financing of murder across the Middle East. With that in mind, under the tremendous leadership of Ambassador Tom Barrack, Lebanese American, with President Donald Trump, the Middle East is transforming from conflict to opportunity. I was grateful in August to join with Senator Jeanne Shaheen, Democrat of New Hampshire, bipartisan, to see firsthand the transformation in Beirut, Damascus, and Amman. Additionally, we can recognize that in Lebanon, Hezbollah wields significant power to control military courts and prosecutors. I recently spoke to a prisoner inside of the Al-Ramaya prison in Lebanon, where Hezbollah prosecutors and judges jailed thousands of persons, Lebanese and Syrians, the vast majority who have been political prisoners who have been jailed for opposing the former murderous regime of dictator Assad. In November, a year ago, dictator Assad correctly identified me as an enemy of the state. 3 weeks later, he moved to Moscow to be with war criminal Putin. And then 8 months later, I was in Assad's office with the new president, al-Shara, who I'm really grateful President Donald Trump has said, give Syria a chance. And so what progress is being made? With that in mind, for each of you, and we'll go from this direction, okay? For each of you, what can be done to push Lebanon to release the political prisoners, not only Syrians, but the innocent Lebanese who are there in the prison? And how can the Trump administration further push the Lebanese government to disarm Hezbollah to meet the objectives that were set forth last year?
Thank you. This is a really important issue. We should make it a priority. We should very clearly, publicly state our expectation that political prisoners be released. And Assad regime era people who are held in Lebanon should be returned to Syria and held accountable there. And with respect to pushing the current government in Beirut to complete the additional 4 phases of the ceasefire with Israel, we should make clear our expectation that our support is not unlimited by time and has expectations for performance. The Trump administration has taken the correct, I believe, approach in providing continued support, equipment, and encouragement to the LAF, but it should make clear that it has expectations for timeline, enhanced and accelerated performance.
Hear, hear. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just 2 things briefly, which is the political prisoners in Lebanon, political detainees, whether Syrians or Lebanese or other, are mainly, there's one main tool that is used against them, which is the military court. The military court is a very old system that needs to be abolished, as simple as that. The first thing in judicial reform is to abolish the military court, or at least seize the military court from dealing with civilians. That's how you protect political dissent. 2, this ceasefire agreement does not have a timeline. Without going into the details, this is #1 priority, is to ask the government to deliver a timeline for all the phases with deliverables.
Thank you.
I agree with my colleagues. I think actually one of them had a problem with a military court at one point in time, a civilian in Lebanon who was charged. This has to end. I think there's a whole bunch of new opportunities here vis-a-vis the political prisoners, but also because of the new cooperation between the Lebanese government and the government of Ahmed al-Shara in Syria. You have talks between the court systems about Syrian government providing information on Lebanese that the former government of the Assad regime helped assassinate in Syria, in Lebanon. Information being provided. There's a lot of room here. You also, the idea of Lebanese missing in Syria, who have been missing for decades. This is something I mentioned earlier. My friend Lokman Saleem, who was killed by Hezbollah, he worked on this a great deal. There's a lot of room here, but the United States government has to be clear. There's no room for political prisoners in ostensible democracies.
Thank you. Thank all three of you. Thank you very much.